Okay, so we're gonna do another eBay antique unboxing. Actually, it doesn't even necessarily mean antique, but as you can see, I'm getting in really into these type of things, so you can probably guess what's in here. All right, I connived the seller to sell this to me for a really good price. Let's see, uh, it could be awful, and we don't know. Now, the same seller who I connived to sell me this thing for really cheap, this beautiful, beautiful cameo bracelet, Italian cameo bracelet, probably early 20th to mid-century. By the way, as you can see, my collection is growing. I connived him. He basically was a seller of junk, thrift store junk. And when I see sellers selling thrift store junk, and then they say, "Oh, I just purchased an estate of jewelry." And I don't know very much. I love it when they say, I don't know much about it. And da 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 da. And then they have a make an offer button. They put a price and they don't know nothing about it or anything about it. I'm like, really, really happy. And so either this could be, by the way, his pictures were terrible. Terrible. You couldn't even make out what the item was in the picture. And so either this could be, or I could be, ends up exclaim, well, I can't exclaim it anymore because YouTube doesn't like it when you use foul language. Oh, okay. So let's see. This could be good or this could be very, very bad. All right, so let's get this baby opened and hopefully I will not be regretting this. And we'll see. Sometimes you take a chance. Hey, look, I offered him 20 bucks for this and he said yes. I figured if worse comes to worse and I paid 20 bucks for it and it's nothing good, it's 20 bucks. It's like, what? Not even, oh my God, you can't even get gas. You can't even fill up your gas tank with 20 bucks anymore. So that's how, you know what I mean? Oh, I almost stabbed myself. And, all right, let's get in. Wow, he used like supersonic tape. I can't even get into here. Okay, let's get the address out of here. I don't want you crack maniacs showing up on my doorstep. And, okay, it's gone. And, dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. And either this is good or and I hope it's not. And you know what the funny part is? Most of you don't even give a about watching these videos. If you're watching it, I give you a thumbs up myself. So actually, don't forget to give me one. And yeah, I really give you guys a lot of credit for actually going through the trouble of watching these boring ass videos. My husband watched like one or two of my videos once. By the way, he even commented on it. And he said, I don't know how anyone watches your videos. They're like really boring. And I banned him. I quickly banned him from my channel. Yeah, and I don't want him to see all the crap that I'm buying because then he's going to start hollering and yelling and you know what I mean? Why incriminate yourself? All right, let's see. Imagine he resubscribed under another name and he's watching this and I'm bad-mouthing him. That would be my luck. Okay, this is actually smaller than I thought. Wah, 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 wah. And what do we got here? Okay, we got some kind of weird thing. It's a cameo. Okay, so we do know it's a shell cameo. Let's take a look at that. It is not resin, thank God. Okay, let's flip it over. I'm afraid to look. I am afraid to look. And let's see. Oh, it's beautiful. Holy cow, let's see who this character is. It's very hard. If you just start collecting these things, it's very hard to figure out who's who in the god and goddess world. And I think we have Psyche. Hold on a second. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. I think we have Psyche. And yes, I think that's who we have here, Psyche. We see wings on the back. And we have like wings on the top of her head. You see that? Wings coming out of there. Now this looks old. Now I'm not an expert, so I don't know if it's Victorian old or, oh, that's got a nice relief. Look at that. See how it curves? And this could possibly be 10 karat gold. A lot of these that I get that are unmarked are actually 10 karat gold when I test them. So this actually has a weird thing on the back. It has this thing, like a safety pin. And this is odd the way it is. It usually has the safety pin on this end, which is like a safety thing that you attach to your shirt or your blouse so you don't lose the cameo. And why is it over here? It should be the other way around. Oh, wait a minute. I think I figured it out. Let's see. Is there a loop on here? Hold on. Hold on. My God. Okay, there is a loop on here. Okay, so you know what? The guy put it on backwards. Oh, it's a guy. He doesn't know. All right, I had to fix the safety pin. Okay, this, right, goes this way, and this gets attached to the loop. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh my God, this is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. I can't get this damn thing. Now I'm trying with freaking pliers and all this other crap, and I'm trying to see it through here. It's so tiny. I don't know how the hell they did this back then. I am trying. Look at this. I am trying to look how tiny this is. Look at this. And I'm trying to get the pliers to like grip onto this and then snap it onto here, and I can't do it. I'm losing my temper. I'm going to need cue cards. I just spent 45 minutes trying to attach that little safety chain to this cameo, and I am, oh my God, I was so frustrated. I could not, no matter what I did, get that onto the thing. Oh, how frustrating. So trying to date this item is not going to be easy. Now, when was the safety pin invented? Yes, that is a safety pin. It was invented in 1849. Okay, so we know that this was made after 1849. My guess, no expert. My guess, by the way, whoever invented this contraption, by the way, I've seen these on Victorian brooches as well, from like the 1860s, 1870s. So it's not like an early 20th century invention. But whoever invented this, horseshit, is a total ass. Look at this. It was so hard to get that door clip on that teeny tiny little loop. I don't know if you could see it, but it's a teeny tiny little microscopically sized loop. And let's try to show you. Can you see that? Of course not, because my camera's junk. All right, there we go. Oh, wait. Yeah, that teeny tiny little loop, which is down there. Yeah, you see that? Oh my God, I was like cursing. Okay, my video got cut off because my daughter was being a pain in the ass. All right, so whoever invented this is a total moron. I mean, how do they expect anybody? I mean, I had to use freaking jeweler's tools to get this on. Well, I guess they expected a jeweler to do it. Okay, so the safety pin was invented in 1849. We know this was made after 1849. When? I'm going to guess between 1900 and the 1920s. I'm not an expert, trust me. I did a test, and it is actually 10 karat gold. Yes, this is solid 10 karat gold. But who is this mysterious lady? Let's check her out. Okay, she's got these wings on her head. She's got these wings on her shoulder, and I don't know who the heck she is. Okay, so she's Psyche. Psyche. And yeah, wow, that's interesting. What about Psyche? Let's find out. Psyche has a sad story to tell. And basically, okay, the story of Psyche, and by the way, there was two versions of each god. There was the Greek version and the Roman version. The Greek version is Psyche. So these names that they have for these gods and goddesses are crazy. And so the Roman version of this goddess is Anima. Anima. And, well, we got Psyche over here. Actually, this camera is just terrible. Don't ever get a Samsung S22 Ultra. There we go. And so here we go. We're going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you. Who's we? Me and her? I'm going to tell you the story of Psyche, the sad story. Okay, so Psyche. Psyche was a mere mortal. That means she can die. She was not a god or goddess. She was the youngest daughter of a Greek king and queen, with her two beautiful elder sisters, and her beauty surpassed that of her sisters and people, including priests, and they all compared her to Aphrodite, otherwise known as Venus. And yes, the Roman version is Aphrodite, and the Greek version is Venus, I believe. Yes. And Venus was the Greek goddess of love and beauty. And many went to the extent of saying that this one here was even fairer than the goddess Venus. And in other ways, basically everyone worshiped Venus for her beauty. And suddenly, now Psyche was the new beauty. And Venus didn't like that very much. So when Aphrodite, otherwise known as Venus, temples were deserted because people started worshiping Psyche, the goddess was outraged that a mere mortal was being worshipped over her, and as punishment, she sent her son Eros, otherwise known as Cupid, to make Psyche fall in love with a vile and hideous person. However, Eros fell in love when he saw Psyche and decided to spare her from his mother's wrath. Both of her elder sisters were jealous of her beauty, and her sisters eventually married kings and left to be with their husbands. She was left all alone because of how beautiful she was, and nobody asked actually Psyche for her hand in marriage. Men would rather admire her beauty. And so she was left all alone and desperate, and her father decided to consult the Oracle of Delphi at the Temple of Apollo for answers. So the king consulted the Oracle of Delphi, and seeking a solution, Apollo, speaking through the oracle, said, "Despair, king. Your daughter will marry a beast even the gods fear. Dress her in funeral clothes and take her to the tallest rock spire in the kingdom. There she shall meet her doom." The king returned heartbroken, but obeyed the god's orders. Psyche was taken to the rock spire and abandoned to her fate. She waited for the beast, but it did not come. In some retellings, Eros is there, only invisible. Zephyrius, the Greek lord of West Wind, carried her away from the rock and took her to Eros' palace that was filled with riches. When Eros returned, he said to Psyche in utter darkness that she must not try to see him, and he can't tell her his name or it would ruin everything. Psyche's first weeks within the palace were filled with pleasure, but Eros, her husband, informs her that her sisters are going to the mountain as they believed that she was dead. Since she had been gone, her family had assumed her death and had been in mourning. She obeyed his command to not go out and see them, but began thinking of the palace as a prison because of her newfound loneliness. She wept for days because she was not allowed to see her sisters, which troubled Eros. In order to appease her, he allowed her to see her sisters, but warned her of things they might say to her to try to break them apart. This is like a Romeo and Juliet story. Psyche promised she would not be swayed and was thankful for the chance to see and talk to them. Her two sisters convinced her to see her husband's true form. Ah, gossip, right? Women are such bees, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, why are women so really mean and dastardly? I don't know. But okay, so here we go. So he warned her not to listen to them, or idle gossip or chit chat. And so she promised him that she would, listen, but her two sisters convinced her to see her husband's true form in case he was tricking her. So they sort of tricked her and, into not obeying or, listening. And so in other versions, her sisters are jealous of her good fortune, and pretty much they were pissed off that she was living such a lavish life. And in anger and in jealousy, they convinced her that her husband is a monster and that she must see for herself whom exactly she is married to. So Psyche eventually listened to the idle gossip, to what they told her, and decided to look at Eros while he was sleeping. Ugh, God. Okay, she sneaked into his room with an oil lamp and a knife. Yes, and a knife. Psyche shone the light on her husband's face, and a small drop of the hot oil fell onto his shoulder, awakening and burning him. Betrayed by his wife's actions, Eros ran off to his mother, Aphrodite, or Venus. After learning what she had done, Psyche was miserable. Aphrodite, aka Venus, found Psyche and made her face 4 trials. The first trial was this sort of huge mount of seeds. With the help of an empathetic ant colony, Psyche completed this task. Her next task was to gather wool from a notoriously dangerous sheep. Psyche was saddened but was helped by a river god who taught her to collect pieces of wool from bushes. Her next task was to collect water from the underworld, and we know where the underworld is. It's hell. And so She was now assisted by the eagle of Zeus, who collected the water for her. Psyche's last task was the most difficult. She had to bring back some of Persephone's beauty for Aphrodite or Venus. Persephone willingly gave Psyche some of her beauty, and when she was near Olympus, Psyche opened the box of Persephone's beauty, but the only thing inside was the essence of death. Psyche died, but her husband Eros, who had forgiven her, saved Psyche's life and took her to Olympus, and Psyche was made the goddess of the soul. Psyche and Eros had a daughter, Hedone, goddess of physical joy. And they lived happily ever after. And so now she has wings on her head and on her back. Wow, so Venus was such a, wasn't she? So I got my prize for 20 doll hairs. I'm actually very happy with it. Turns out to be 10 karat gold, solid. As you can see here, we got a story, right? We heard a story. Quite interesting. Did it ever happen? Probably most likely there's a 99.9% chance it never happened. This is pretty cool. I'm going to actually clean the shell. It's a little dirty. What's cool is it has a little bit of other colors going through the toga. 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 Sorry about that. And I'm going to clean her face off and stuff. It's very easy. A little dish soap. And yeah, there we go. And it's got a really lovely rosy color. Do you see that? The colors are really cool on this one. This was actually a real pain in the hiney to get this reattached. Now I understand why the seller had it attached incorrectly and wrong. Somebody probably got so damn frustrated they never wanted to put it back together again. But there you go. We got a little story. We did an unboxing. We found out that I got lucky. I got this for 20 doll hairs. And we learned the story of jealousy, love, hatred, and mere mortals becoming gods and goddesses. Well, in this case, a goddess. Did I assume her gender? Oh no, somebody's going to get mad at me out there. Thanks for watching.